This is a tutorial to help you calculate your seasonality, CDI, and BDI, or your regionality. The example can be found in your Quattro Media Plan folder on eCentennial in Part 1, and I'm going to use this Excel file to demonstrate the example. As you can see, everything you need to complete your Quattro plan is in here. There's an example of how to use a P&B category report. This is the file you'll use to calculate your seasonality, and this is the file you'll use for regionality and demo profile. Followed, there is a media plan template. There's also a checklist and the media brief answers. So let's start with regionality. I'm going to go into the CDI and BDI chart. This is the data that comes directly from Vividata or the P&B website. And as you can see, we have a category here of domestic beer drinkers, so drink any kind of beer. They personally drink domestic. And we're going to analyze the brand of Molson Canadian. The first thing we need to do is figure out population percentages. So we'll just add this up. Calculate our percent equals this, divided by the total. I'm now going to put a $sign in front of the 16, row 16, and this way it's going to anchor that cell so that I can copy and paste all the way down. I'm going to hit the percentage format, so I'm going to go to my numbers and change that over to be a percentage, and now I'm going to copy and paste it down. So now we have our percentage numbers for each region. So Atlantic Canada represents 7% of the Canadian population, and so forth. So I can now take these numbers. Oh, here's another little trick I always do. I always add these up to make sure they add up to 100, to make sure there was no mistakes. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it here. Now, the next step is I'm going to transpose these numbers because, as you can see, these are in rows and this is in columns. So right mouse click, go into Paste Special. You just want the values, you don't need the formulas. And we're going to transpose and say OK. And just convert those back to percentages. Now, luckily, our category percent is already done under the vertical column, so we don't need to do any calculations there. So copy, paste special, and transpose. So our CDI calculation is, one other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to undo that so that I can show you don't want any formatting. So we'll copy this again, paste special, just the values, so that's not going to take in the blue shading, transpose, say OK. CDI is now taking the category percent and dividing it by the population to get an index of 107. So I can copy and paste this across. And as you can see, our rank formula is what it's doing is it's ranking the 107 in cell B21 and comparing it to all of these other index numbers. Okay, so it says please rank B21, compare it to B21 to G21. So what this is saying is Atlantic Canada ranks 3rd for category development. Okay. So I'm just going to take these numbers because population is always the same. Just paste them down here and get my brand percentage over here. Copy. Paste special. Just the values and transpose. Okay. I can also copy this formula. It's the same formula. It's taking 6 divided by that. And now I can copy across. Okay. So now you have your regionality data collected for the brand and the category, and you would then be able to go on and do your analysis. The next thing you need to do, and I just want to show you where this comes from. So this is the raw data. Okay, so your report when you get it is going to look something like this, and you just want to go through all of this and just isolate this area, the regions. Okay, so seasonality. So what you have here is made up numbers. Remember, these are all made up, and these are showing you sales in millions by month. And what you want to do is calculate an average and figure out the seasonality for this brand. So I've provided you with an example that's already completely done for the pop shop. And I find it the easiest thing to do is to copy and paste as opposed to always recreating. So I'm just going to copy these formulas right here. Come over here and paste it. I don't need to paste special. I can just paste it. And just double click to make sure it's adding up. So as you can see, it's only adding from row 11 to 20. We want to make sure it's adding all of our data, which starts on row 10 and goes down. And let's see if this formula is correct. So it's taking the average of row 21 and comparing it to all of this. Oops, just undo that. Okay. So now I want to figure out my monthly average. And again, I could just copy the formula over here, or I could recreate it. I'm just going to copy it and paste it here. Just make sure it's adding up correctly. Yep, it's giving us the average for blue from column C10 over to N10, so we're good. Just give that a little check mark, and I can just drag that down. Okay, and I want to get the percentage, copy, paste, make sure it's going okay. Okay, P10 to O. Yep, that looks right. Okay, just double check over here, what's it doing? P10, the monthly average divided by the total. Yep, we're good. And we're good. Oops. Okay, so now I want this little chart over here. So I'm just going to highlight this whole range by clicking on, what cell number is this? 22. Anyway, just highlight it, copy, come back over here, and I'm going to insert it anywhere. Just say insert copied cells. Okay, so we are analyzing Canadian, which is on row 12. I'm just going to highlight it so I can keep focused. So, percent total for January. Is this the right one? No. So it's looking at Labatt Blue. We want it to be Canadian. I can just bring it down there and divide it by 12. Just change that over. Okay. Now I've got my percentages by month. I've got my monthly average. So as you can see, the month of January average sales for this brand are 7.5% of the total. Obviously, the warmer months, you can see they're starting to increase their sales. September, and then again around December. So that's the purpose of calculating this, is to see how well your brand is performing throughout the year, if there's any spikes or dips in performance. And the category, we might as well do the same thing. As you can see, it's reading to the wrong row. It should be row 21. So I'm just going to bring that down and change that to be 21. Okay, so that's that. So that's it for your regionality and seasonality. My suggestion is to just copy the examples that we did in class. This one is completely done. So you can copy this information into your own data that you have for Quattro. So you'll have your own seasonality that you can get the numbers from and then provide an analysis. And again, your CDI, BDI, you have that for razor data, and you just want to calculate that for regionality. And that is it. Thank you.